it's me, Persita, and this is Persita's Paradox. So today we recap on our Thursday thought of the day. What does your friends say about you? Now, you may have reflected on that several different ways. I mean, we could have thought about it from the aspect of what would they verbally say about you? We could also look at it from the perspective of what do your friends say about your decisions and who you call friends? And we can go as deep as to simply say, what do your friends have to say about the relationship that you two have amongst each other? I'm going to touch on a few of them and try to see if any of this rings any bells with you. I've gotten a good amount of feedback. I mean, I will say that most took it from the approach of what would your friends verbally say about you in regards to description, what you feel, how you act, what your personality is, and etc. I'm going to touch on that, but I also want to start by touching on when I say, what do your friends say about you? When I look at your friends, what exactly would I gather about the type of person you are? Meaning, are your friends wholehearted, loving, successful in their own right, whatever that success may be? Or are they struggling and emotional and a little negative and maybe a little pessimistic, more so than optimistic? It's always interesting to look at the people that you find yourself confiding in, like that first 5 in your phone. When something hits the fan, who's the person that you call and what does that say about you? I like to find myself always finding a way to address that by really assessing where I am and trying to assess what type of person I'm attracting. There is a rule, I think I've said it in the last video, the first 5 people in your immediate circle, meaning the people that you really call the closest. You can somehow, some way look at what they're doing, what their successes and losses are, how they handle them. Are they spiritual? Are they not? And really determine who you are as a person. For example, if you have a friend or a close relative or maybe even a boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're negative or continuously needing you to stroke their ego, it says a lot about the fact that you may be attracted to people who make you feel like you're saving them. And in that, there's a manipulation that you would have to address, because that would simply mean that you're not really up for a challenge. You like to be the head. You like to feel as if you are in control. I think that we all have a person in our life that's like that, but I also feel like we have that person that is always striving to do things that are better and greater and bigger, and they're pretty optimistic and they move forward and they do a lot of positive things. And that person typically makes us feel a little less than. These type of friends are not trying to put you in a position of feeling inferior. It's just something that naturally happens. We all have a sense of envy. We just have to know how to control it and know where it is and what it is. So the question lies, out of those 5, who are you in this story? I've seen memes online and it'll say, have something like, a cast of characters, maybe from Friends or the TV show Girlfriends or something like that. And it'll really identify each personality. And then it'd say something like, which one are you? That's the question I'm asking. Which one are you in your circle of friends? Are you the motivator? Are you the party person? Are you the budgeter? Who are you in that scenario when I say, what do your friends say about you? But then in the exact same breath, the question remains, are you able to get a complete definition of who you are from your friends? The other end of that is, are you authentic with them? Or are you still putting on some type of a front so that you're not really allowing people into your life properly? Meaning, you don't want people in your life that you can't gain some type of wisdom from. It's pretty pointless. And when you think about, again, the circle of people that you keep, the first 5 people in your phone list, you really want to make sure that you're able to learn something from them and bounce things off of them to gain wisdom and knowledge. So I say again, you want to press yourself to really challenge your surroundings. It's sometimes easy. We fall susceptible to using time and the ability of, this friend has been in my life for a long time. But then when you actually look at the person, the question remains, are they actually growing? Or are you just in a complacent place with them? Because complacency brings forth complacency. Same way anything else brings forth itself. You're typically not able to attract anything other than yourself. So the creepy thing, it becomes if you're attracting the type of friends that are all the things you're trying to be not, let's just say. So you're trying to be progressive and they're not progressive, and you're thinking that you're going to find a progressive friend. It's kind of complicated because you tend to only attract who you are. So if you are weak-minded or if you're codependent, you typically find that type of friend. So if your friends are only making a certain amount of money, it's very complicated to get over that hump, because when you're in need of something, no one can really instruct you or push you to do better or make better. It sounds like this. You know what? I really need to come up with, I don't know, $2,000 by tomorrow. If your friends aren't acclimated to hearing that type of scenario, or they cannot produce $2,000 in any form, other than a paycheck, then it becomes something that sounds impossible to them. And again, I don't think that this is deliberate. I'm just simply explaining that that's what I mean when I say, what do your friends say about you? That's really the angle that I was going with. But I do appreciate the fact that there were so many of you who actually responded with more of what would they characterize you to be. And there was a two-part to that actually emphasized what would your friends say about you. I think that my friends would say about me that I'm, extremely driven. I think that I am focused. I can be bullheaded. I can absolutely be opinionated. But I try to do all of those things to individuals that I feel like can handle it, if that makes any sense. I'm never expecting you to agree with me. I'm probably one of the best we can agree to disagree type of people on the planet. But in the exact same breath, I am pretty strong in what I believe. Typically, the things that I speak on are only things that I know. If I don't know it, you won't hear me say anything about it. But if I know it, I'm kind of hard-pressed in really talking to someone who's gaining knowledge from me and not able to actually give me some sense of experience. Meaning that most of the people that I like to call my friends or cling to, there's something about them that I can learn from. And it doesn't always have to be financial. It doesn't always have to be spiritual. It doesn't always have to be relational. There's just other aspects of them that I can learn from. And I always want to be in a learning position. When I find myself around people who don't push me, I'm just not motivated to remain in any sense of friendship. Now, that might sound a little harsh for some people who just can't deal with being that honest. But for me, integrity and honesty run neck and neck. And if I can't talk to you straight, it's a little complicated for me to really call you my friend. Now, that might not be for everyone. I'm sure it isn't. But I'm very clear in what it is that I am and what I bring to the table. That's where I think sometimes we kind of miss the mark, because a lot of us remain in what we call friendships, in air quotes, based on time. And truthfully, you haven't spent any personal time with this person in years, but based on the fact that you've known them at one stage of their life, you feel like they're still your friend. I typically don't use that word very loosely. It is something I take pretty serious. So if I'm calling you my friend, I definitely would say that we are speaking at least once or twice a month. Now, life gets in the way, and yes, I love to hear people say, oh my God, I know that's really my friend, because we can pick up wherever we left off. That is so true. But if you really are trying to nurture a relationship, then you really want to take the time to water it. So what I'm pressing forth is that even if you don't have friends yet, when you do find friends, you want to absolutely not take them for granted. Everyone wants to feel needed and loved, and I think that's very crucial. What I am looking for to express in this video today is that we just have to do better. Things that we love and people that we care about, we have to actually express it and be real and upfront and honest about it. People are passing away every day. People are losing communications with each other every day, all based on the premise of no one wants to make the first move. And I want to say that the people that I'm asking you about in your friendships, are you actually nurturing that, or is that just something you take for granted? Let's not do that at all. Let's move forward and express ourselves to the loved ones that we have. If there's people in our life that we need to get rid of, and I mean that in the most genuine way, but if there are people that you really need to move past, it's time to do that. You're running out of time. You're not going to always have the opportunity to do things. And let's just be honest, procrastination is the worst thing that you could ever do in your life, because it's almost as if you're telling the spirit realm that you'll have another day. And since we know that day to day is not promised, If you wake up in the morning, you should be very thankful because there's so many people who did not wake up. So you don't want to procrastinate. You don't want to take your time and trying to figure out what it is. And you don't want to waste other people's time. So let's really do better when it comes to our friends. And let's be conscious of who's around us and what they bring to the table and what we bring to the table. And let's always work towards bettering ourselves and each other to make things work and become relational and in a fellowship with one another that allows us to live our life authentic. You know, that's my speech. You know, that's the thing that I'm going to always say. You have to live your life authentic. It makes no sense at this day and age to really do anything that is not authentic to you. It does not make sense at all. So let's affirm today that we're going to do better with our friendships. We're going to nurture the ones that we need to nurture. We're going to get rid of the ones that we don't. And we're going to move forward progressively in better relational fellowship with our loved ones. Thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate your time. I greatly appreciate all of your feedback. You guys have been wonderful. You shared so greatly on the last video. I haven't seen that much love in weeks. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. And remember to do all of the liking, all of the sharing, all of the commenting. Hit that button so that you know when the videos are coming out. And please continue to share. I so appreciate you for that. So let's do it. And let's also remember to do 3 things. Live life authentic. Thank you again so much and have a blessed day.